Hey everybody, welcome to the Fatboy FadeAway podcast. Doing a little bit later here on a Sunday. We're doing about 8:15 here. We're going to get into the NFL here, get our picks in, tell you guys who we're going to be wanting to go with this week. And the NFL, we're also going to be in our other segments trying to get into the NBA, and then we'll finish it up with the MLB. First, though, let's start with the NFL. Big week 5 this week. We're already at the quarter pole in the NFL season. A lot of news going on, a lot of disappointing news as well. The COVID situation's kind of put a little damper here on the season, kind of like how baseball has a little bit. Just kind of get our audience here updated on what's going on here, especially for this week and, affecting last week as well. And obviously going forward, the Titans, again, had somebody this morning I read another staff member test positive. So that's 24 players and staff members that have tested positive since they added this guy, Greg Mabin, from their practice squad to the COVID reserve list. So it's kind of put, from that point on, kind of put the NFL kind of in the baseball situation with the Marlins, a little bit of a, just a little worrisome of how they're going to do it. And they don't, in football, it's a little harder to make up. You can't really do double headers with games in that sense, and pushing back the seasons, I guess the only thing they really could do. As a result, it caused the Titans Steelers to both take a bye last week, an early bye, and they'll make it up later in week 7. It also hit the Patriots, with Newton. So it hit star player, hit their best defensive player, Stephon Gilmore. And it also, the other player got tested positive was Bill Murray, not the comedian, just the defensive lineman. But, they tested positive as well. And, as a result, this is not only impacting the health of the players, but it's also going to eventually impact the NFL schedule. And, of course, just like the Patriots did last week, it could affect the NFL standings. I just want to get your thoughts on that and just kind of that whole COVID thing here now hitting the NFL.
The Patriots Broncos just got moved back to next week also, so they're getting an early bye.
Jeez.
So, I mean, it's crazy. It's going to affect the whole season, like you said. Like, baseball could do the double headers and 7-inning games, and, sort of just – you can't do that in football, and you can only move games back for so long.
I'm curious to see how it affects, the standings, a team like the Patriots. Can they overcome, some of those big losses? And they've already lost a lot of players already to COVID, not even playing in the season to begin with. And then you kind of think about, I don't really worry about the NFL and postponing the weeks. I just kind of feel like that could happen overall. They could just kind of keep delaying the season by a week, kind of just how the NBA did. But I think you kind of called it in some of our earlier podcasts where when we were talking baseball, you were saying when they're traveling, it's going to cause some issues. And, when you have that many players on an NFL locker room and practice squad, your chances for error are greater. And so I think, I think that kind of is to your point, that this is just going to be one of those seasons that they're going to have to fight through. I have no doubt, though, that the NFL is going to finish this off one way or the other.
Really? I just feel like there's too much politics involved, or I think it could get stepped in on. You only have so many bodies.
Yeah, I just think I think most of these guys are asymptomatic and they do recover. And I just think it's more of a schedule thing. Maybe if you start having players die from it, that's one thing, but are seriously ill from it. But I think most of these guys are recovering at a very high rate, and they're not really having too many issues with it. So, I'm just being honest with it. I think the NFL is going to look at like that, and with the idea of losing a lot of money, and the players don't want to lose that money either. So
yeah, the Bills might not get paid this week if the Titans forfeit the game due to COVID. If more guys test positive and stuff, they were saying they might just forfeit the game.
And I can't imagine that going over well. So speaking of this, go ahead, T.
And if players aren't getting paid, that's going to just cause they're not even going to play. They'll just walk out.
That will bring on a whole another amount of issues.
You were saying with the standings, though, it just kind of sucks that the Chiefs get to play the Patriots without Cam Newton, or the Raiders, the Broncos, are going to have to play them with Cam Newton probably. And it's just sort of this unfair, where injuries are that's part of the game. Not normally. everyone's getting sick.
This feels a little bit more like just like the wind taken out of you, not quite fair in a sense. So you talked about Buffalo real quick. So a couple other schedule changes due to this. Keep everybody updated. Denver at New England. It was supposed to be played Monday, but apparently now it's moved to next Monday or next Sunday.
No, it's Sunday.
So that game will be made up there. So don't gamble on that game this week, people. I had to cross that off my list this morning. And Buffalo, Tennessee will be moved to Tuesday, 4 o'clock on CBS, and that's 4 o'clock Pacific time. Tyler, let's answer this one quickly. Will the NFL eventually take over 4 to 5 days of TV now that they're experiencing all these different days of COVID? Like, why not do a Tuesday game? Like, I'm just kind of hypothetically throwing it out there. Like, and one day I could see the NFL, maybe not in 20 years, but I could see the NFL trying to take over as many days as they possibly can get their hands on.
The scheduling's just too hard because they need days off and stuff. Like, they could if they wanted to, absolutely. They could literally take over if that was their, like, one goal. But you can't have a team play Friday and then play Monday or like. No,
they'd have to extend the season. There'd be some it'd have to come to a point where the NFLPA and the NFL and the owners agreed to something. But I don't know. With all this experiment, I can see it going down the line, something like that. And our generation's getting softer and softer, and players needing more and more time off. I could see them having to extend the season just to give 2 buys or something like that. This might be, I'm talking maybe down the road even, but I can see the NFL leading that way at
I think they would need more than 2 buys even though. Like, that's not going to give you a significant amount of to have every game being played. You'd have to have play
it'd be like if you played on a Tuesday, obviously you couldn't play until the next Sunday. You would have to have a certain amount of days off or something like that for that to happen.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but what would the day, hypothetically, the day they could probably get away with is 3, maybe they could get away with. But that'd still be killer. Like, if you're playing Friday, you can't play till.
But you got to say the greed, though, that NFL sometimes makes you think they would want to they're probably exploring it possibly.
No, for sure. They definitely could do it. People would watch the NFL, every day of the week if it was on.
Hey, so that's the COVID situation. That's the bad news for heading into Week 5. We'll see the Titans and the Patriots are really being affected by it right now. Those are the 2 teams being hit the hardest, obviously, by it. And the Steelers had to get their bye week earlier than they wanted. So there's a few things there in question. And the Broncos as well there. So, but we don't care about the Broncos on this podcast. As a Raiders fan, we don't care about the stinking Broncos. No, just kidding. So let's do a quick look back here at Week 4. Niners big losers last week. So were the Raiders. Niners losers to the Eagles. Raiders to the Bills. The Niners are having a season that I thought a Super Bowl loser would have. A lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck. They're in a good division.
I mean, let me point out, you did pick them to go to the playoffs before the season started. So this is what you were.
I did.
What you guessed.
Maybe not fully what I guessed, but I didn't think they were going to have this automatic great season. I thought they were going to struggle a little bit. I still think they can make the playoffs. If Garoppolo's out, that kind of changes the whole thing. But I still think they can get in as a 7 seed, or at least at the very minimum there. But here's my question to you, Tyler. Why am I wrong and the Niners will make the playoffs? What's the big thing going for them?
I mean, they have a good O-line. They can run the ball. And if you can run the ball, you have a chance. Now, I feel like that's the one thing you have to be able to do in the NFL if your roster is depleted in certain areas is to be able to run the ball. Now, they need to pick up their downs, and that depends on Garoppolo coming back, where he's okay at. He's good enough at it to get games done. But they're going to struggle. But they're getting Devo back. They're getting Ayuk. We've seen Ayuk for 2 weeks. He looks pretty decent.
They're in a tough division, though. That's
the hardest part. They
still have 7 games.
So that's where they might not make the play. No, they have way more than that.
They play the Cardinals, right? Well, I mean, in their own division, 7 games.
Oh, yeah, then they have 7. Yeah.
So I'm saying those are tough. All those are going to probably be 2 tough games, injuries aside from another team getting hurt. We'll see. So you think the Niners you like their chances still, especially with Garoppolo in there. But you had to be kind of at least somewhat excited about the loss in the sense of there will be no more Mullins hype.
Oh, yeah. That was killed very quickly.
That was a horrible interception, man. That had to be one of the worst interceptions of all time.
You know what it reminded me of? Neil O'Donnell
gosh, yeah. Larry Allen.
Yeah, to the X-Raider.
Gosh, and then the Raiders, the Raiders pay him $10 million a year for that pick.
When that was a lot of money.
Oh my gosh, that was horrible. All right, so you got that. So you still like the Niners, of course, making the playoffs. I'm sure Brian's right there with you, right in that train.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I like it.
You're obviously feeling good about it. Come on, it's your team. You got to either be on them or not. Are you with them?
What do you mean? You talk shit about the A's all the time. You don't have to always be in on them. No, I don't feel great about it.
That's my personal feeling. I'm just trying to pressure you into making a call.
I don't have a.
So you're saying that I think you think they're going to make the playoffs.
I think they have. They're not done. They're still a good team. I still think they're a good team. To
give you a little confidence here, they are plus 30 still. So
they played the Giants and Jets. So
I didn't want to point that out.
Who they beat. So I'm not I know who they are. They're not last year.
Here's another little quick look back. Let's go to the Raiders real quick. I'm going to make this very quick because I don't want to waste too much time on the Raiders. But check down Carr. I just feel like he no interceptions, but man, for no interceptions, it's just crazy how little plays you can make, especially when he gets down. I just feel like the game is it's just over at that point. I don't know, just him in comebacks don't always go to well. Maybe earlier in his career with Jack Del Rio, they're a little bit more gunslingy, but now I feel like he's so methodical, so cookie cutter with his decisions a lot of the times. It's just I don't know, his big game capability is not there like I thought it was going to be. He's going to still obviously have some comebacks still. I mean, he's going to play. He's going to start all these games. So he's not and he's not horrible to the point where he'll still probably make a Pro Bowl when 7 guys are hurt or something like that. But I'm just not a fan of him anymore. And I'm just losing faith in him as the quarterback.
Do you want Todd
I'm not
Peterson?
saying I want Peter. I do not want Nate Peterson.
So what do you want to do? You want to wait till
I'm just saying I'm worried that it's going to be mediocre. Beyond mediocre and more mediocre football for the next 4 years with him as the quarterback.
Okay, so you just replace him next year, you'll be happy.
I'm just saying maybe let's start thinking about drafting somebody like the Packers did and see let's maybe get somebody that maybe put a little pressure on him. Put some pressure on him at least a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe he'll play better like Rodgers is. I'm just kind of tired of all this he's throwing no interceptions through 4 games. It's just give me a break.
But that was John Gruden's thing. It's the West Coast. Obviously the West Coast has – offenses.
But Carr's not as accurate as Gannon is, and he doesn't run as much as Gannon does.
But I'm just saying, it's changed with the Chiefs run a West Coast offense, but they still throw the ball down the field. But that was I think maybe Gruden's offense isn't down the field. Bill Walsh's offense might not be effective now, but he probably would have changed with the time. Maybe he hasn't really just
I agree with you on that, but I also feel watching him earlier. He did throw down the field a little bit more, but he still had a check down mentality, even with Del Rio and all
that. He does check down all the time.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I want Nate Peterman as the quarterback. What I'm just saying is I would like to see them maybe draft a quarterback, put some pressure on him to maybe see if maybe you get a good season out of him instead of just kind of handing him the keys to the thing. That's kind of more my issue with it. So that's our quick hits for the week involving the Raiders and Niners. Let's do a new segment here. I'm going to call it the dump and run segment, all right, in honor of Derek Carr here. So, and Marshall Falk, that will be our dump and run segment, especially Madden, right? Just dump it to him and run 20 yards with him. So we're going to do 3 questions, answer them in 30 seconds, T, here on the Fatboy FadeAway podcast. Question number 1.
I like Tyler, this little addition.
Tyler, I'm going to give you the first one here. Teams we are starting to buy into that you didn't at the beginning of the year.
The Packers for sure. I mean, I think I had them winning the division, but I see them as the best team in the NFC. Probably I never thought I'd see this Aaron Rodgers again. I thought he was kind
of. My team I'm going with is the Browns. Casey bought into him a little bit more. I'm still a little suspect of him. I think this is a big week for me in terms of if I'm buying into him, but they are playing a little bit better than I thought. I'm giving them credit for, especially on a competitive standpoint. After they lost week 2 it was, or week 1. They had a bad loss.
Week 1.
Week 1, I kind of fell off again on them, and then now they've had some really good games there. So that's the team I'm going with, is the Browns. So, all right, question number 2. Which 0-4 or which 1-3 team will make the playoffs?
I don't know. You go first.
All right, I'm going to go with the Vikings. That's the team I had anyways making the playoffs. So I'm going to say Kirk Cousins is the team I'm going to go with there. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. The Vikings make the playoffs.
1-3. I mean, maybe I'll go with the Cowboys. I don't like they're just going to outshoot team. I don't believe that. I don't know. Maybe none of them really. Looking at this list, I don't see the Browns making it. Or not Browns.
How about Cowboys?
They could if they could shoot out everybody, but their defense is so bad that it's hard to really believe in that pick.
All right, so who's your 30 seconds are up? Who you go with then?
I'll go with the Cowboys of this list.
All right, so Cowgirls it is. All right, last one. Big storyline to come out of week 5. Tyler, you want to go first crack or me?
You can go.
Jets win. That's the big storyline for me.
Jets win.
Mr. Flacco comes in and pulls out the win somehow. That's the big storyline.
I think it might be talking shit about Derek Carr, but the Raiders beating the Chiefs.
All right, well, that's good. That would be a monumental upset, and I'll give you some stats why here in a second why that would be an even bigger upset. So that's the dump and run segment. We're going to do that every week now. So those were the questions. Vikings, I like that one for me making the playoffs. The Cowboys, Frankie will be proud of you for that one. So Frankie gives a little pat on the back there.
Hurt me to say it.
And your father should be disappointed in that as well. All right, let's get into the gambling segment here. That's the one we want to get up to. Let's update the standings here. Casey's 8-7. I'm 10-10. Tyler, you're 7-8. Both of you guys.
7-8.
Yeah, I reviewed it this week. Went over the picks. You are 7-8. I am 10-10. Casey's 8-7. Unfortunately, Casey's not here right now, so he's gonna miss the week again. But he does have technically the best percentage. So here we go. Clint's gonna join us on his picks this week, so I'm gonna reveal his here in a second as well. But let me give you some stats here to think about if it maybe changes your mind or if you're just better out there. We don't want to be wasting your money. So I got a few stats for you here. So 49ers are 6-11 against the spread at home over the last 3 seasons. So if you're thinking of the Niners, that's something to think about. Cowgirls are 10-2 against the spread when it comes to the NFC East, but they are 0-4 this year. So the last 2 years, the Cowboys are 10-2 against the East, but are 0-4. They play the Giants today. The Titans are only the 3rd team in the Super Bowl era to be 3-0, but 0-3 against the spread, which I thought was kind of fascinating. And then Seahawks, Russell Wilson, he's 26-7-1 on Sunday night games. So if you're having anything to do with the Seahawks, you might feel pretty good about that. And the Raiders, Derek Carr is 0-6 at Kansas City with 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 14.4 QBR against the Chiefs. So those are some stats going into the picks here this week. Tyler, before we get into our 5 fabulous picks, I'm going to give you the honor of our fantasy picks. Tyler, give me the fantasy player we should look for this week and plus the fantasy stat of the day.
I mean, I went with the Raiders maybe beating the Chiefs just because that'd be a huge storyline. But I think Tyreek Hill will be the player of the week.
Good choice there.
The Raiders' defense does not do very well. They suck, to be honest. And then my fantasy sleeper is Darius Slayton. Playing the Cowboys, who need a big dub but can't stop a nose from running, defense from scoring. They don't have much of a shot. But defensively. Hey,
we got Casey in here, so let's finish him up here. We'll give him the chance to do the upset of the week here. All right? There we go.
All right.
We'll do this live.
Coming in hot. Hopefully you're ready.
Hot. Hopefully Casey's ready. Casey, you're coming in live, just to let you know here, back from vacation.
What's up, man?
What's up? Hey, so you're joining us mid segment here. Give us your upset of the week and why.
The upset of the week. Oh man. Well, it's going to be the Raiders.
Raiders over the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Nice. We were saying that that's going to be a tough one considering Derek Carr has played so crappy in the Chiefs. So if that is an upset, that would be the massive upset of the week. So that's a good one to go out on a limb with there. You are here just in time for our 5 fabulous picks here that we're going to make for the week. Let me give Clint first at Clint Highshoe. He's been tweeting us this week. We're going to start competing with him a little bit. Hopefully we can start putting some moolah on this thing. So here's Tyler's for the week. And Casey, he has Chargers over the Saints, or Chargers and Saints. He has the over at 50.5. He has Carolina over Atlanta at 2.5. Pittsburgh at 7 versus Philly. Jacksonville at 5.5 at Houston. And then he has Arizona at getting 7 against the Jets. So again, he has the Chargers Saints over. He has Carolina against Atlanta 2.5. Pittsburgh over Philly. Jacksonville over Houston, and Arizona over the Jets. So those are Clint's picks for the week. Clint, thanks for giving us those picks here and getting involved in it. Tyler, let's hear your picks.
All right. I got the Colts getting a point. Are they getting a 1.5 or giving a 1.5?
They're getting a point.
Yeah, I have.
Whatever you have.
Or what do you have? You did
yours.
I
had a point.
Okay, a point. I have the Colts getting that point. They're the best defense in the NFL right as of now. And after their slow start against the Jaguars, they kind of have done what the Browns have done this season. They both started off 0-1 and now are 3-1. And watching the Colts just makes you, why the hell did the Niners give up Butler?
I know. He's dominating right down the line.
Oh, he's the number one defensive tackle by player professional football focus.
Okay. So you got the Colts then against the Browns. That's a good one.
And then I have the Chargers getting +8. I have, but what do you have?
Huh?
What do you? I have +8.
Yeah, no, whatever you got. Just the line.
Herbert's been unreal so far. And the Saints, I don't really buy into too, with Breeze being a little, and we'll see if Michael Thomas plays. And they're missing their left tackle, so with Nick Bosa and Ingram's hurt as well. But I have the Chargers +8.
Okay, so you got Colts, Chargers,
and then Niners getting -9. They got their full offense back with Mostert and Garoppolo. They're getting Debo more in sync. They got Kittle back last week, and we saw what he could do. And the Dolphins,
the confidence.
The Dolphins, I don't buy. They need to bring in Tua. With watching Herbert and Burrows both play so well, I want to see Tua.
All right, so a little Fitzmagic. Not buying into that. Niners with the romp. What a shock there. I like that pick.
And then I have the Raiders getting +13. It's just 13 so many points, and
I got mine at 11 or at 11. I'll go off that one. Off that one.
Yeah, that's fine. What is it?
At 11? I got 11. Yeah. So what do you still got?
That's
the Raiders?
Fine. Yeah, I'll take. Oh, I'll take the Raiders. And then I have the Giants getting +10 against the Cowboys.
I got that. All right,
I don't trust Dak to put up the numbers that he puts up when he's down by 30. The first game of the season he played against the Rams, they lost 2017, and he put up 200 yards.
No, that's understood. So let me just recap here. So you got Colts, Chargers, Niners, Raiders, Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler's 7-8. He's on a little bit of a win streak. He's starting to do better. If you're willing to buy into his picks, those are the picks he has this week. I'm going to try to be the hype man for him, as you can tell with his picks. So let's be confident of Tyler. Don't feel so negative.
7-8's not that bad. I'm not that upset about 7-8.
All right, so show a little bit more emotion and passion towards him. Maybe the Colts are going to win. No, just kidding. Casey, who's your picks for the week?
Well, if anyone's been listening to me, they should put some money on my picks because I'm pretty money.
You're 8-7 this year, so let's go. You do have the only one with a winning record so far. So let's. What do you got this week? Make them out for us.
I'm not going to do point spreads this week. I'm just going to do straight pick 'em.
Well, you pick the teams, and then whatever the spread is, I'll put it there for you.
All right, so I'm doing the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys winning. I got the Niners winning. I have the Steelers winning, and then I have the Raiders, obviously, and then the Rams.
All right, so we'll see if you can get – so Casey's got the Cowboys covering the spread against the Giants, the Niners covering the – so you guys are the same on the – you guys have the same Giants-Cowboys game but different going with different teams.
Well, I get plus 10.
Yeah, that's true. Both going with the Steelers. Or no, you're not going with the Steelers. Casey going with the Steelers. Both going with the Raiders, and then Casey going with the Rams there. So those are Casey's 5 picks for the week. He's 8-7 people. So maybe if you're trusting his picks there, those are the ones to go with. These are going to be my picks for the week here. I'm going to go with the Rams at Redskins. I'm going to go with the over at 46. Rams only scored 17 points against the Giants last week, so I feel like they're due for a big game. Kyle Allen is replacing Haskins. I feel like he's kind of one of those quarterbacks that can have big weeks, and so I feel like they can get over 46. So I feel real good about that game being a little bit sneaky, high scoring. So I'm going to go Rams, Redskins over. I was going to do Denver Patriots, but now that got postponed, I'm going to axe that one. I'm also going to do Bengals at Ravens, 11.5. Ravens are the favorite. I just feel like the Bengals coming off a win with a rookie QB. Their offensive line has given up 15 sacks. The Ravens are playing pretty motivated right now after that loss to the Chiefs. And the Bengals defense is allowing 160 yards on the ground. That's probably not a good recipe against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So I'm going to go with the Ravens there to cover that big spread. Raiders, Chiefs, this was a really hard one for me. I just feel like the smart money is on the Chiefs just based on the stats. The Raiders have lost 72-12 at Arrowhead the last 2 years. There's no crowd, so I'm just going to go with my heart here. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I'm banking on no crowd. I'm banking on them getting Trent Brown and Ruggs back. I have no idea. The Raiders have hit on all overs this year, so maybe they stay with the Chiefs high scoring. So I'm going to go with the Raiders there. The last 2 here I got is Jags-Texans. I got the over at 54.5. The Jags defense is horrible, giving up 30 points a game. Houston hasn't scored more than 23, which worries me, but I think they're going to hate Bill O'Brien so much. I think they're so fired up he left. They're going to just have a big game against the Jaguars. And the Jags defense is giving up 400 yards a game, and that's probably not a good sign against Watson, who's pretty good at the deep ball. My last game I'm going with, and this is the toughest one for me of all, was the Vikings at Seahawks. It's a 57. The Seahawks have scored 30 points every game. The Vikings have scored 30 points every game but one. But I'm going to be an idiot and take the under still here. I think the reason being is I'm just banking on maybe the Seahawks being just slightly off, and maybe they win 31-24. That still puts the game at 55. So I'm going to go with the under there. Kirk Cousins is 7-14 in prime time against Russell Wilson, which is 26-7. So it'd be really hard pressed to see the Vikings winning this game, even though Cook is having a great year. So those are our fabulous 5 picks for the week from all of us. Again, Casey's 8-7, Tyler's 7-8, I'm 10-10. We're kind of right in the middle, getting used to this. Clint's now joining us with his picks. So I'll be texting you guys, talking trash during the day about our picks a little bit there. You guys, especially with the Cowboys Giants later on there for sure. So
I was going to say the worst game of the week. Which one is it? Falcons or the Cardinals versus the Jets? Falcons Panthers or Cardinals
Panthers without Julio. That's a tough one right there. So I'm gonna go. That might be a tough one there for sure. So we're gonna take a little break here, and then we'll start up with our NBA segment here. So I hope you guys enjoyed our NFL segment here. Make sure you give us your picks below. Like and subscribe to the NFL. It's been fun doing the picks here. So Clint, we'll see how you do. See what you got here this week. Darren, I'm sorry to hear about last night. It was too bad you couldn't make the picks. All right, we'll see you guys in the NFL segment. We'll be back after this break. All right, welcome back from break there. Back to the Fatboy FadeAway podcast here. Segment number 2. Going to hit the NBA. Got Casey here with us for the full segment. Tyler here doing the NBA. 3 of us haven't done an NBA segment here, or the 3 of us together here in a while. So, and I feel like I feel like this is kind of in some ways our best sport to collectively talk about because we've all played it together for so long, and we have very similar thoughts towards it. But we also have a lot of differences as well. So we've discussed a lot of them over the years. So let's get right into it with our thoughts on Game 5 of the NBA Finals. First of all, what a game! That's an NBA classic game. Too bad nobody was in the crowd to see it except for family members. But man, that was a really hard fought game.
100-point game.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody could see it. But it was just such an entertaining game. The way the Heat compete is just, it really makes the series worth watching in a sense. Like there's some teams where you just feel like they're out there kind of like dogging it and they're competing, but you just know they don't have enough kind of grit to get over the top. And that's the one thing about Pat Riley's teams, and Spoelstra, you got to give them credit for it too, is like those teams are like really well prepared and they're really gritty. And I know we're going to get into Butler here in a minute. So, but just give me a quick little initial thoughts of Game 5. Casey, let's hit you first.
Man, I was, I love basketball. I mean, that is my favorite sport. And I was watching that game and I was just like, man, this is just like, I was like up on my seat. Like I would say up on my seat, but I sit on my bed. So I was just like so amped. I was just watching.
Were you jumping on your bed?
Oh, man. I was pretty close to it. I ain't gonna lie. I was so amped and just hyped for that game. And I got off work and I was just like, I was so happy and like, because I mean, depressing, my A's lost, so I don't got much sports to watch. But once I watched that game, I was just like, this is why I love basketball. Just like you were kind of speaking about the competitiveness especially between Butler and James, the last 3 minutes, man, that was epic. I mean, just the way they were going at it, it was shot for shot. It was just like two heavyweight fighters, and it was just like, I don't know, man. Like whatever people want to say about Jimmy Butler, they can say it. But man, he's a dog, man. He just has that fight. Like it's so fun to watch him compete, and you can tell his teammates like love playing for him. Like I think it's like the perfect cast for him. Like they're so young.
Yeah, it is.
Hero's 20. Robinson was undrafted. Nunn was undrafted, and it's just like it's just like you were touching on earlier. They just don't give up. They just keep playing, which I love.
Tyler, before we get your initial impressions on the game, I just wanted to add a couple of things to what Casey said. Casey talked about Butler and James going at each other. Butler ended up with 40 points, 13 rebounds, 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. LeBron ended up with 40 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. And the other thing that was kind of fascinating about their matchup was usually you don't see players go at LeBron quite the way that Butler did in the NBA Finals. Maybe Durant has, been able to do that scoring-wise, but Butler really went at him hard. I mean, when LeBron gets 40, 13, and 7, you're thinking that's winning the NBA Finals. So that was very impressive. And then the Lakers, 3 through 8 players, Rondo, KCP, Green, Kuzma, Caruso, and Howard were no-shows in that game for the most part. So Tyler, with some of those little things also, what was kind of your initial well, no-show. Their bench,
KCP played all right.
He got 16, you're right. He played okay.
Yeah,
but
what do you mean? That's good for KCP.
He did. So we'll say he played well.
That was part of my story of the beat. Like
he played really well in Game 4. KCP, he had some huge baskets in Game 4, especially. But anyways, let's get your thoughts on the Game 5.
It was a great game, back and forth. The last 3 minutes is alternating like leads was insane, and I was just impressed that everybody showed up. I felt like in that Game 5, all the players that needed to show up did show up. Like the KCP, Harrow had 14. Duncan Robinson had a monstrous 24, 26. Jimmy Butler put on his game of his life, other than Game 4 or 3.
Yeah, Robinson had 26 on 7 of 13 from 3-point range.
Yeah, he was and Bam played well, and Anthony Davis played well.
See, I didn't think Bam necessarily played his best game on that well. But he gives them more, obviously.
But he had a couple of dunks, and he had a couple blocks. Who?
Davis had 28. If the Heat –
Not Davis, Bam, I think.
Oh, I was saying –
Davis played great.
Yeah, if the Heat can beat them when LeBron and Davis go for 68, I mean, that's
but you're expecting Duncan to go for 24 every 26.
Can Butler goes 35 and 12, and can Nunn get 14? So with that said, let's look ahead to Game 6. I know we're going to be all over that game. Case I know you'll be jumping on the bed tonight, and we'll be still be watching the game. Probably even more over the Vikings Seahawks, that's for sure. So let's go with the Heat standpoint first here. Like I said, their competitive, their spirit, their defensive awareness was okay last night, but in stretches I did like it. Like there was moments where I saw Bam actually denying LeBron. Sometimes it really frustrates me how people don't try to deny LeBron more and try to irritate him, because he'll get frustrated. He doesn't like to move around to get the ball. Like it's not, he'll kind of just more shove you out of the way. It's not one of his strengths. So I saw Bam do that a little bit, and I kind of liked it. And I mean, if you can do that, sure, get somebody else to initiate the offense. I don't understand why teams don't do that a little bit more. Butler scoring 40 seems to be a very important theme in getting triple doubles. So we'll see how from the Heat standpoint if they can keep those things going. I just to get your guys' thought here on the Heat, a couple of my thoughts here are no Dragic is still a killer. I don't quite trust Nunn enough, even though he is the player that can kind of unlock Bam the most with those pick and rolls. He's just a little bit more inconsistent. And I think Iggy's going to be a big key tonight. He hasn't played great, but he hasn't played that horrible. And I think he's going to be a big key tonight. So, those are the Heats from my point, from the Heat standpoint. Case, how do you think the Heat pull this off?
Just keep doing what they're doing. I mean, they're doing a great job of setting those flat picks for Jimmy Butler and letting him get to his sweet spots. And on the off ball, they're just running Hero and Robinson away from that, with so much action that it kind of lets Butler kind of do his thing. And so it's just I think as long as they keep playing and do that same system, because I think they kind of figured something out. And I think they kind of noticed that, whenever they keep Hero and Robinson running on that weak side, Butler's able to go to the rim and attack. And I think
Robinson, don't you think, Casey, he got more open looks than he has any of the other games too?
A lot of that has to contribute to Bam coming back.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming back to him. But then, like you said, Dragic is a killer. I mean, it sucks. I mean, he's a gamer. But Nunn, they got people. They got personnel that they're just I don't know. Sometimes, I watch them, they kind of remind me of, a young Warriors team. Not that talented, but just their action and, the way they play is just
they play for they kind of look like they're playing with a real love out there, and that's kind of what the young Warriors team. They feel like they're really enjoying being out there playing with each other and competing and stuff. So
and they got one superstar that's really when they need him to get a bucket.
Yeah, he's been, like I said, he's going at LeBron toe to toe right now. That's not very many people have been able to do that in a series. Tyler, you got any quick thoughts on the Heat too going into Game 6?
Just Jimmy Butler's all around game. I didn't know he had this in it. I didn't know he was this. Could do this even. I knew he was a good player
right now, guys. Top
this
10,
performance puts him right there in the top 8. But before that, no one had him. I don't think anywhere near there.
We actually did a podcast, Tyler. I re-looked at it. All of us, we did one before the season ended, and we had Butler at 12 going into the playoffs. I think about all of us now will probably have him in the top 10. Now after this performance, for sure.
And I love how he just he didn't conform to the new NBA and shoot a bunch of threes. He takes his best shot, which is from 2018 to, and he's money at it. Yeah, and he can get to the rack if he needs to.
What was the game?
Game 3, I sent you guys that tweet.
Oh, that tweet, yeah.
Yeah. The first ever game that LeBron's been outscored, out-assisted, and out-rebounded in a finals game.
That's nuts.
That's nuts. It's crazy. I mean,
Durant didn't even do that. That's nuts.
No.
Jimmy Butler's post move to take the lead at the end of Game 5.
Yeah.
You're drove and sort of. It wasn't really a post move, more of a drive, but
it turned more of a drive.
It was just not the
he
one
under turned though.
Yeah, he turned
I know what I'm talking about.
Crazy good footwork.
Yeah, over Markieff Morris. Yeah.
Yeah, he got and he got slammed a couple of times by Howard a few times. He was just a China and a bullshit. He's just he's like a bull in a China shop there. He's just out there crushing people.
What do you have against the Chinese?
2020, Darren. Dang it. You can't make those mistakes. All right, so let's go to the Lakers standpoint here real quick. So a couple of notes I got for the Lakers here. Well, I was kind of like, what the hell is the coach doing? He was playing Morris, I felt like, way too much. I mean, Morris had 1 rebound. He had 0 points and 0 assists in 18 minutes. And he's in at the end of the game. If you're a Lakers fan, unfortunately, he ends up with the ball with 18 seconds left. And he kind of does what a guy does with those type of stats for a night. It's like something I could see myself doing, like deer in the headlights. Like he has like LeBron. He had Danny Green, who I went to pass it to, either behind me, wide open. But he did have LeBron on the wing open. He just missed. And then he's like, oh, I got Davis with 3 people around him. And he just basically shoots the ball at the rim, it looks like, and out of bounds. It was pretty horrible. Maybe one of the – it goes right up there. Curry's is obviously worse because he's a superstar, but one of the worst turnovers in a finals kind of key moment game there, along with J.R. Smith. That goes up in the list there as a bad moment there. So I don't know what the heck the coach was doing playing him much. I'm a little worried about the Lakers bench if I was a Lakers fan. 40 points, like we said, from their bench players or from their 3 through 8 players. But like you mentioned, Tyler, 16 of those came from KCP. So that kind of concerns me. Just a couple other thoughts about the Lakers stats I want to give. Case this will kind of help you with your LeBron James lover fest. There is LeBron. He's played 259 playoff games and he's missed 0. That's a pretty beastly stat right there. Just to give him a little credit there. I know we're a little hard on him there. And I feel like the longer this injury goes, if I'm a Lakers fan, it's kind of like the Warriors thought when they were up 3-1 on the Cavs. Is the longer this goes, those injuries sometimes creep in that you don't want to. I know Bogut wasn't the star, but he was pretty important. And Iguodala got more banged up, and just sometimes that can make a difference. So, Tyler, will give you the first shot at the Lakers here. What kind of stands out from you, them going into Game 6 here?
Like Casey said, the Heat need to keep doing what they're doing. I just feel like Lakers just need a different shot to fall. You have your 2 best players. If they're playing well, everything else will fall into place, you'd think. And if it doesn't, then you just don't have a good enough roster. And you can't really – I mean, the small guys need to step up, but you can't count on them. So just depend on your stars. And
Casey, what do you think about the idea – and Tyler, you chime on this too – what do you think about the idea of LeBron passing up on that shot at the end and passing it to Danny Green? That was the right play. But Lillard sent it – somebody asked Lillard a tweet this weekend. Some fan had said – what do you think of LeBron's play? He goes, it was the smart pass, but I would have took that shot. That's what Lillard said. And I was thinking, that's the problem with LeBron, though. He's never really had a mid-range jumper, so he's never ever going to take a shot like that for the most part anyway. So I was like, why the hell is he passing it to Danny Green? Danny Green, where was that against the Warriors in the finals? It felt like he was unreal good with the Raptors, and now he's can't make a
unreal with Spurs,
shot.
Too.
Well,
he's weird. He at times goes unplayable. It's weird, his career.
Well, I mean, that's what Damian Lillard.
Well, his defense makes it always okay to have him in. But I see what you're saying, though.
That's true. So, Case, let's get your thought here on the Lakers headed into Game 6.
Well, I don't know if you heard me, but I said that's why Damian Lillard's never played in a finals game because he shoots too much and never passes. But anyways.
But I like the mentality.
I mean, it's the right play. Triple team. He hit the guy wide open. He's won a championship. Hey, what the hell?
I agree with you. He should pass it, but I don't know if that's why he hasn't played in the championship either. But I agree with you. He should have passed it. He had a wide open Danny Green.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Danny Green. All right. So, anyways, Lakers standpoint. How they finish this off tonight?
Their bench just got to play better, man. Tyler touched on, it's like Davis and LeBron played pretty damn well. I mean, I guess you could get more points, but 68's. Davis, he's hurting, man. You can tell he's not feeling right. But
I feel like he's twisted his ankle like 12 times.
Yeah, I just think, the key, and it sounds so dumb, but Caruso's got to make shots and Rondo. Those are my 2 keys. If those 2 show up, Rondo was terrible. That he was awful. He made some key layups towards the end, but other than that, he did not show up. I was like, maybe he just took the day off, or I don't know what the hell. But Dwight Howard, he's just a goon. He doesn't do anything. He just tries to get people mad and get them thrown out of the game. And I was just watching him. I was like, man, from where he came from, he's so terrible. I was like, man, just watching him, he reminds me of a 70s white player.
He's one of the more overrated players of all time.
Player, just trying to rough up stuff. And I was just like, I don't know, but to me, Caruso and Rondo are the keys to this. I mean, if you think about it, and I was like watching this game, and I was just like, "What the hell happened?" Like, the game plan was terrible. I was like, I thought Spoelstra like outcoached him like way better than like. I mean, just the talent level alone, the Heat should not even won 2 games. I mean,
and that's the thing you got to give the Heat credit for is they're able, like, even like throughout their times as Riley's got there when he was with Hardaway, they're always known for like just at least competing hard. And so the Lakers should have known they're going to get a good game in the finals every time.
The talent level is not that far off when you like go the whole roster. It's just the top 2 are so much better than the
it's that
like
Davis
Harrow's way
drop-off.
better than and Duncan's better than anyone.
I like how Casey though.
And they still
Case.
I don't know.
Case, I want to point this out. How if I was Caruso, you just gave him a massive compliment. I mean, I'd be like, if Caruso's making shots in the finals, then the Lakers have a good chance. I mean, he's got to be a happy man coming from wherever he did to hear a statement like that from anybody. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I agree with you too. That's what I'm saying. Like, but it'd be like me, like if Darren Breyer, man, if he made those shots, I'd be like, what? Somebody say that about me? That means you're actually pretty good. So this coming from somebody who I thought would ever make the league. That's quite the pick there. So so let's go right into it. Then we got 2 more things here. Then we'll wrap up the NBA. Let's make this last part quick. Tyler, the line for this game, you don't have to do the line, but I'm just going to tell it anyways, is 114 points. The over under is 114. Lakers are favored by 5.5. I've told Casey I hate anything that has to do with spread in the NBA. I hate. It's just like there's so many unnecessary points at the end. I never would ever bet that. I do think this game would be in the under. I think the teams are very tired and stuff like that, so I see them finishing under 114.
It's going to be 214 there, not 114.
Or 214. Thank you, Case. Sorry. Yeah, 114. Hopefully they go over that from a watching standpoint.
You were picking the under on 114. They are very banged up, folks.
What is this, my 8th grade basketball team? All right, so you got it. All right, so let's go here. Tyler, who you got?
I got the Lakers. LeBron will get his crown for the year, and
raises the trophy.
I don't see Jimmy Butler putting up 40 again, or 35, 13, or 12 and 11.
All right, so, you've heard it, people. Tyler,
did you guys also see Jimmy Butler walking off the?
Well, he's like twisted his ankle like 1,000 times. Too.
Walking off the table after his interview, like he played 47 to 48 minutes, and he's like, looks like he's dying. Walking.
I don't even know why they took him out a minute. My gosh, keep him in the whole time.
It was like 47 seconds.
I know. I saw it. He looked dead. He looked like he needed an IV. Case, who do you got?
I got the Heat tonight.
Forcing the game 7.
116 to 110.
All right. I think my heart's going to go with this pick. I'm going to hop on the Casey one here and go with Heat. We're going to go game 7. Case we did it the whole year together here during the bubble playoffs. So let's just root for a game 7 again together here. So we're going with the Heat, people. So that's what we're looking forward to tonight's game. Let us know what you think of it. Let's get into this last Twitter question of the week here. I've been doing the Twitter with people, trying to communicate with them, and I got a question thrown out to me from MJ Goat. Or at MJ Goat. He says, what are our top 3 NBA Finals underdog performances? So he's talking about individual performances. I'm going to go with Butler this year. I feel like he's been kind of underdog performance, and he's just performing out of his mind. I'm going to go with LeBron in 2017, and might as well say 2018 against the Warriors. Both performances were just crazy. Probably more 2018 if I have to say it, because his team was worse that year. And then I'm also going to go with Allen Iverson in 2001 against the Lakers. You know, they lost, but he had that one incredible game, and without him, that team would have scored like 12 points a game. So I thought he did it fantastic. I thought he was fantastic. So
did in one game.
Did in one game. So, Case, we'll give you the first shot at this one. What's your top 3 NBA Finals underdog performances?
One is Robert Horry against the Pistons, where he was lights out, and we did that rewatchable. I was just like, man. Okay. But
with the dunk of his life.
Yeah, right. The Space Jam dunk where the arm extends. So I was like, man. But he dislocated his shoulder, it looked like, after that. But
he did.
2 would probably I'm going with Allen Iverson, the game 1, where, he steps over Ty Lue, the infamous, game, I think. I don't know. To me, that's just remarkable. Mm-hmm. And then number 3, I got to go with my boy LeBron. I'll go the whole series if I could, but against the Warriors, the blocker around the roll, to me, that game was just sensational.
Tyler, who you got?
All right. I'm going Barkley against the Bulls.
All right.
Just played spectacularly. Came up a little short, like you always do against the Bulls. Then I'll take – one I'm surprised both of you didn't pick. I'll take Dirk against the Heat. He was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everything he did. And
that's
then
a good one.
The third one, I'm taking the whole Pistons team against the Lakers when they had their big four of Malone, Peyton, Kobe, and Shaq. Like they all just –
All right, you convinced me. I'm taking Dirk. I'm putting Dirk on mine. I'm taking LeBron off. I don't want. But LeBron, you're off the list. We're not gonna LeBron.
I'm keeping LeBron.
LeBron's off the list.
Dirk has to be on the list.
He's on every other list. We're taking him off the list there. So at MJ Goat, thanks for the question this week. I'll do another one next week. So just kind of send them in at Fatboy FadeAway. It's been fun doing it with some of the guys there on Twitter. So Tyler's on there. We'll get Casey to figure out how to do the login, get him in there one of these times too. He's got a lot of trash to talk to. So we'll doing it with you guys. So send in your question for this week as well, and we'll talk about it next Sunday. So we'll be back to finish up the MLB part of our podcast, and we'll call it a wrap for the weekend. So I'll see you guys here after the break. All right, later.
Bye.
All right, welcome back to our final segment here on the Fatboy FadeAway podcast, wrapping it up here on a Sunday morning. We are at 9:22. We're going to get this online here so you guys can get the picks up here. We're going to shoot through this quick, the MLB, because me and Case probably don't want to talk about it too much. We're a little frustrated after the A's sucked it up this week. They were horrible. F you, Tyler. The A's lost to the Astros.
Smiling so much.
Just a few things I want to rant about is, the hitting, of course, is just continues to be pathetic with runners in scoring position. They get guys on base. They strike out too much. They don't move guys over when they need to. They have guys that don't get clutch situations. And then when they do get enough runs, their pitching never has a shutdown inning. I think it felt like every time the A's scored, the Astros came back with a run the next time or anything big play happened. So, and it's 20 years of this crap. It's the way it's been. The only thing I can say is the teams in 2000 and 2023, I did expect a little bit more from because they had more legit stars than maybe this team did. They didn't have necessarily the legit stars, but it still goes back to the same thing. Like it's always the same issues. They don't hit with guys in scoring position. They don't have power arms in the playoffs. If you don't have those two things, if you don't make freaking contact with the ball, you're not going to win. This year, their hitting was better than it's been in the past, but still, it's not situational enough for me. And the pitching, obviously, was pathetic. So I just want to say thank you to, real quick here, there's a lot before Casey, I let him go on his rant about it, to some of the fans the Twitter people, especially at A's Fan Radio, and all the people on there. I've been able to bitch and moan and complain all day. I was very unproductive at work sometimes because of this. I was just frustrated with their everything. And then Simeon makes this horrible error. I mean, it's a routine freaking ball. That is a Tyler age 13 error that we are not wanting on that right there. That is not. It was horrible, and it cost us massive freaking inning.
All right, now I gotta say stuff.
Tyler, so Casey, you're up. You got it right here for a second.
I'm losing the hat. It fucking suck, man. I'm just like, every year it's like, I'm tired of this shit. It's like the same crap. I'm not gonna be so repetitive and say everything you just said, but I'm just like, all right. So you're up 4-0, cool, in the fourth. Then you're up 5-3, and you lose the fucking game 11-5. Like, come on, like you get no.
Then 5-2 the next day. I mean, where's the competition? And then they lose. The other game they lose by 6 runs. I mean, where's your sack? It's like compete a little bit, like a little fire.
I mean, I know they lost Chapman, and that was a huge loss not to have Chapman in there. But I mean, like, still, I don't even think it would have mattered at that point.
Their number one clutch player was his replacement.
I mean,
Pinder, you're right.
Pinder, yeah. Return the Pinder. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I'm just so tired of this crap, man. Every single year. I mean, I've been to
Casey, should Bean go? Should they let Bean go? Should they cut the cord on Billy?
Trey Holmes gotta go. tired of
I worry we'll turn into the Pirates if we let him go.
Yeah, you can't let Bean go.
I mean,
it's the only reason you guys are relevant.
I want him to go. I mean, but it's like at the same time.
Screw you, Giants fan. Get out of here.
I know. Just shut the hell up for 5
Hey, look, I got 60 games of baseball this year that mattered. I'm excited.
No, I'm just so over this. It's like, like honestly, like I didn't even watch 2 of the games. I really didn't.
We're both working. That was the other frustrating part is the league. They give us no freaking respect. It's like we're on the West Coast. The Yankees and Rays are on the East Coast. Let's start their game at 8:00 Eastern time, and let's start that game at 12:35. And the ball's like flying out of the yard like it's on like home run derby baseball again. It's like, what's going on here? Like, this is ridiculous. These balls are like juiced or something. They're just going out at every level.
Oh, the excuses are pouring out.
Ridiculous.
I'm so tired of it. Like, I'm just like so fed up. It's like
I'm tired of Tyler's smile over there.
I know.
Yeah, shut that
It's
smile.
an ugly ass smile.
It's not the best, but it does its job.
So I guess with all that crap, I do appreciate the Twitter part. Like I said, be able to let that out. Case one of these days, one day they will win.
We're gonna be like cup. We're gonna be cup,
obviously for sure.
We're gonna be like.
I don't know what to say, guys.
And I won't be able to remember.
That's for sure.
Be 75. Remember,
Tyler. Although you said a couple.
Let's go to the Rays
6
Yankees
runs
series
twice.
Real quick. Let's hit that one.
All right, go ahead.
Vámonos. Let's go.
Who scored 6 runs?
The A's twice.
Oh yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. The pitching. Well, the hitting was better. The hitting was bad, and then that's what I'm saying with them. Like sometimes the pitching's bad, sometimes they can never like put it together in like a situational situation. It just never works out for them. They always choke. All right, that's enough.
I can't disagree with that.
It's always choking, always choking. Every opportunity they have to do something special, it's a choke job. Ryan Theriot came through as the base hit for the Giants. He didn't choke. He came through and he won a World Series. And you don't that's how you win World Series. You had Ishikawa hit a home run. That's how you win the World Series. You have these guys that are no-namers that are sometimes bums do that. So that's how it is. All right, let's go through some things here before I lose my mind.
Yeah, but you also have pitchers like Madison Bumgarner, Tim Lincecum, Cade.
Exactly. And we're just not getting the job done. Hudson, Zito, Mulder always had chances to finish it off, never could quite give the performance well enough to win it, or the bullpen never could finish the job. So
speaking of guys that never come up clutch, and then the guy from the Rays is 1 for 15 or 0 for 15, and then hits a homer. He's 1 for 16. He's like the best.
Brusso.
What a cool moment that was too, because he almost got hit in the head 4 weeks earlier and almost died from Chapman basically trying to peg him in the head. And then he has a really good at bat. He's like, I think I want to say 8 pitches or something like that.
10,
you said 10 pitches, Case, and he just knocks it over the wall. What a really cool moment that was.
Yeah, it was right at halftime of the finals game, so most people turned over to that to watch it because it was like perfect timing for TV experience.
And I'm glad the Yankees lost, of course. So that's always happy there. So we're glad they lost. Sometimes I'm like, why can't the A's be the Rays?
Did you hear the music they played after they won?
Yeah, Empire State of Mind and New York.
That's good. So, Tyler, Case, let's hit the predictions real quick here. ALCS, NLCS. Tyler, or let's let you go first, Case, just with the picks here. Astros, Rays, Dodgers, Braves. This isn't who either of us had in the World Series. We still have our Dodgers pick available. Case, Tyler, you still have your Astros pick or your Astros pick alive.
And Braves.
I thought you had Pods.
No, I did an NLCS.
Right, that's right. Okay, so who do you have? Let's go with you, Case, first. Astros and Rays, who do you have?
I hate the Astros, so I have to go with the Rays. I'm going 4-2. They win. I just think they're ready. They're prime. They're just they're ready.
How do you got in the NL?
Well, obviously my pick, Dodgers.
Tyler?
I got the Braves, and then I got the Astros to figure it out. Just find a way to win when it matters.
So Tyler's –
they have some new scheme maybe. I don't know.
it was that praying mantis. So
that killer praying mantis.
That praying mantis on the pitcher.
Whispering secret nothings into his ear.
So Tyler's going with the Astros and the Ted Turners to make the
if the Yankees win, I would have the final four.
That would have been pretty impressive. I'm unfortunately going to go with the Astros and Dodgers. I just feel like it actually would be kind of fun to see those teams to play each other, just because they're the ones that hate each other the most over this thing, and there'd be no crowd. That would be very fun to hear some of that stuff. And I think they should play for 2 rings. For both rings, let's put both rings on the line. So
that would be pretty cool for the players that are available in both series.
You get the ring. You're not just playing for 1 this year, everybody. We are playing for 2 championships.
What a Vince McMahon would definitely step in.
Ron Manfred.
How great would it be if the whole
fireworks?
Jared, how great would it be if the whole Dodgers roster pulls up in dumpster trucks?
Yeah, something like that. Just like, just trash cans.
And the special guest referees will be the Athletics and the Yankees.
I actually kind of am hoping that's the series. I mean, the Rays are the better team, but just for like drama and stuff, you got to admit that would be more fun. The Dodgers and the Astros for sure. So that's our baseball segment for this week, guys. It's hard to watch whole games, I know, but because baseball is so long. But I do think those Dodgers-Braves games, they're going to be really entertaining. So, and there's some really good players in those games. It's the 1 and 2 offenses. And the Rays-Astro one's kind of interesting me because the Rays have a very good pitching staff. Astros, their lineup is just better. It's better than – it's performing now how it should. I mean, so they have legit hitters. And we'll see how that praying mantis continues to get the job done for him over there. So I want to give my Andrew Vaughn stat of the week here before we get out of here. In college, he hit 50 home runs and walked 123 times at Cal. So just want to throw that out there. So, hey, guys, good podcast this week. Enjoy the games on week 3. Clint, we hope we beat you.
Week 5.
All right. Tyler, good luck this week. You're 7-8. Or week 5, sorry. Week 5. Yeah. We don't want to end the podcast like that. Womp, womp. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.